Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's so happy to have you joining us. It's so hard to believe that this is also the end of Earth Week. I can't believe it. The final day, right? A Minecraft education. And hopefully you've been joining us all week and been having a great time. And today we're going to be actually taking on in climate futures, transportation. So it's the final frontier of what we're doing for this week. And I'd like to introduce ourselves here. I'm Mary. I'm going to be your half host here today. And I'm from Brighton, Ontario. And we have with us also Dan. Dan, do you want to say hi?
Hi, everyone. I'm in Waterloo, Ontario currently, Treaty 9, and I'm a global Minecraft mentor and a Minecraft consultant, and I do all things Minecraft. And
Does he
yet,
ever?
this week has just flown by.
It's crazy, isn't it? Because you've been involved in every single thing that's been going on, which is amazing. And everybody, you're in for yet another treat, I'm sure, today. Poor Dan, he's like, there's no pressure, no pressure. And he's done such amazing builds all week that it's been really fun to watch. All right. So saying which, I'm actually in the land of the 1923 Williams Treaty. So it's very likely that all of you are also participating and learning from or near territorial land of one of the many Indigenous groups across Canada. I want to acknowledge that today I'm presenting from the territory of the local people of the 1923 Williams Treaty, the Anishinaabe-Waukee, the Mississauga, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat people. I'm really fortunate to be able to enjoy and share with you from the lands and the waters of this region. It's just beautiful. So if you haven't had a chance already, go to native/land.ca and find out more about the land acknowledgements and the land around your area where you're living. We have a big thank you that we have to do every single time because Minecraft, Microsoft, they have just totally given us the scope to be able to do all of these wonderful, amazing workshops with you. And so our time today and the whole entire week has all been thanks to them. So thank you very, very much. And the same old thing, we know that you can see and hear us, but we can't, of course, see or hear you. So we have a form. We have some way of communicating with you that works really, really well. We can read the form and check things out and give shout outs to anybody that's coming in. So we want you to set up a new tab on your computer or whatever you're working on and put in the cc.page/earth. Okay, the cc.page/earth. And if you've joined us for the other two lessons, then you already know that one as well. And if you're actually looking on YouTube Live, then you'll see the form is actually right there for you as well. You don't even have to open up a new tab. So once you've done that, once you're there, we have a question for you. Dan, do you want to give them the question today?
Sure, absolutely. So how did you get to school today, and what source of energy was used to get there?
All right. Now, our school for me today is my house. I didn't have to go anywhere today to do this. So I'd have to say for me that my source of energy would be my breakfast. That got me here, my legs. I walked here today. So that was it. So I don't think I had to use any other kind of fuel to get me here, any other energy. What about you, Dan?
Likewise, I walked into my office this morning and turned on my computer, and yeah, that source of energy was my breakfast and a coffee, and that's it. Normally, I mean, more recently, I have been commuting a lot, and that would be using a vehicle. But I try to work from home when I can accommodate it to help reduce that carbon imprint.
Right. And we're going to be talking a lot about that when we go into the Minecraft world as well. So let's see what we've got from some of our friends out there. Okay. So we have Nick, oh my gosh, Nick Neruka. I hope I said that right. I hope. And taking a bus. Riley's taking a car. Amelia's gone by car. Paxton was by car. We have Kate saying she took a bus, and Sandra was in a car. John was in a bus. Noah was electricity using his computer. It sounds like Noah's at his is doing some things from home, which is cool. Ray, electricity from the house, absolutely. Ethan, a bus. And diesel. Oh, diesel instead
Okay.
of gas in that. That's cool as well.
Mhm.
Kaylin said by car. In my dad's car using gas. Sienna was by car. Jacob was by car. They use gas as the form of energy. So interesting, right? We'll see about all the different ways that all this works. Amelia's
Mhm.
in school virtually. She just walked from her room, same thing. So she used her legs, but she's using lights, which is good. So she said she's got electricity going there as well.
Corbin's
Mike,
got a bicycle.
oh, that's cool. That's neat, eh? Naomi was walking, Benjamin's virtual school. So he woke up and there he is. He's at school as well.
Yeah.
And Olive is a car as well. Grayson's at home. So energy again is their nutrition. That's great. You guys have got the idea. You're totally, totally with us. That's wonderful. And we'll be coming back and giving more shout outs. Don't worry. But that's wonderful. Let's get started though. Okay. That's really cool to see. Today's plan. We're going to explore in Climate Futures. It's a brand new world, this one. The transportation world is a brand new one. We are actually going to be talking about Area X.O. And you're going to have to just right now start thinking, because we're going to ask you later on, what in the world do you think Area X.O even means? Okay, so just be thinking about it. Don't cheat and Google it. Okay, no cheating. Then we're also going to create and build your own climate future invention. And some of you may already have some that are on the go from being in the other sessions as well. But today's is going to be all based on transportation. And that's where Dan's forte is going to come in today as well. He's all ready to roll for it too. All right, let's get exploring. Okay, here we go. We want to just say to everyone, if you're on a Chromebook, okay, the Google Play Store, may not have the most updated version of Minecraft Education yet. So if you don't see this brand new world, if it's not there for you, just save this lesson and you can come and do it again another time. Or you can also be definitely following along with us. Dan's going to go through the whole world as well for the transportation. And then we're going to go build over in a block of grass. So it makes no difference whatsoever where you do your build challenge. You can do it in any world at all. If you want to go underwater and have something happening underwater, go ahead and be there. The build challenge is just for you to think about something, some invention to help the climate's future. Okay, so if you're having trouble, then just keep this in mind, okay? But hopefully for everybody that's watching, we really, really hope we're going to take you through and get you in here. And then Dan's going to do a live demo as well. So sign into your account, get over there and hit play in Minecraft Education. Once you're inside, you will see that you have worlds and your library. Go to your library, click on subject kits, and then scroll on down to the bottom and you'll find climate and sustainability. And then you'll see right up in the top right-hand corner of the little block, Climate Futures Transportation. It's a new world. And I'm hoping, boom, you're going in and there it is. And the other way that we can do this as well, I'm just going to come back over to here too, because it is a new world, you can actually go to new and featured as well. And it's in there as well. Okay, so climate futures and transportation. All right, Dan, I'm throwing you up on the screen.
All right. All right, so let's go in and get started. Click play, library. Oop, wrong one. Subject kits, climate and sustainability. And here we are, climate futures. And again, if you don't see that, you may not be running the most up-to-date version on your Chromebook. So you can check in the Play Store. You should have your own board's version of the Play Store there. You should be able to click on it and click update. If you can't, follow along.
Yep, follow along or pause and come back later. Either works, yeah.
All right, so I'm going to create the world here.
Perfect.
And it's going to pop up. Now, you'll notice that happened really quickly. That's because I'm on a gaming machine and it's super fast and powerful. It'll be a little slower on Chromebooks or iPads or whatnot. So be patient and wait for it to load. It might take a couple of minutes.
Excellent. And just while we're letting them do that, to make sure that we have everybody together with us, we've got some more shout outs that we've got to do here. Right. So yeah, Sophia goes to school by car. We actually have Isabella is already asking, is Area X.O an airport? Because we're thinking transportation. I like where you're going there. That's great, Isabella. Melody had electricity and her breakfast as well. That's her energy. Aiden, I like his wording. Aiden said, I came to school on mechanical energy. Pretty sweet. I like that. Madame Stewart is asking, does the Build Challenge have to be an education edition? Absolutely not. It can be in any world that you want to have it in. Absolutely. It's you build wherever you want to build. It makes no difference whatsoever. They just want you to build and create an invention that's going to help our climate's future. And you know, I love the fact that even doing this, students have such amazing ideas, right? Their minds can just go so much bigger sometimes than adults, because they don't think, oh, that can't happen. Make it happen, right? And so it's so neat to see these happening. We have Sophia as well. I think I said Melody was already there. And we have St. Greg's 4, 5, 6, 7 classes. They go to school by car, bus, and bike, and they use mechanical energy and fossil fuels. And they put in brackets, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And that's going to be, you're going to be talking about that too, Dan, I know today.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So we'll get started here, and we're going to walk over to Emily here, and I'm going to click. And welcome to Climate Futures Transportation. Today we'll learn about how transportation and the use of fossil fuels affects climate change. Okay, so we're going to have 3 areas to explore, and they are going to each have 3 different riffs. And it's going to show us the many different impacts of transportation and fossil fuels. So we're going to get a camera and a portfolio, and we can take pictures as we go along. I'm not going to be doing that, but you can feel free and welcome to do that. And there is a guide. I'm just going to click ready here. Get started. There is a guide here that you can pick to take pictures with. It'll show you some of the areas where you might want to do that.
And that's over in that chest that you went to, yeah.
That's right. So if you haven't talked to Emily yet, you have to go do that before it will allow you to pass through the first gate here, this sparkly thing.
And Dan, do they have to always talk to Emily to do anything, even with the riffs and things that they're going to see? Is it always
the riffs you'll be able to interact with? You could forego talking to Emily and just jump into the riffs. But I'd recommend that you talk to Emily, because there's some critical information there.
There is, yeah, absolutely.
All right, so I'm in the first area here, and it looks like a workshop of some sort. So we'll just walk up to Emily and ask what's going on, because there's not a lot of other context going on. There's no other posters or signs. So my only information here is Emily. I can't even go into the workshop right now. It's blocked off.
Right.
So I'm going to go back and find out what's going on. So the age of oil started in the mid-19th century. In 1859, Edwin Drake invented the first modern drilling process for deep oil wells. It started the journey to nearly everything you see today: cars, trucks, planes, manufacturing, plastics. All of these need oil. However, even back then, we were able to see the impacts of drilling for oil and its use it would have on the environment and people. All right, so I'm going to go through here, and the workshop is on fire. So I'm going to be careful to avoid the fire, because I am in survival mode.
That's a good idea.
Drilling rig here. So let's stay away from the fire. I don't want to catch on fire. And I'll go talk to Emily again to see what occurred here. Edwin Drake's drill kept hitting groundwater, which was causing the walls of the well to collapse, mixing oil into the groundwater. Later that month, it also caught fire, completely destroying the structure, causing them to rebuild.
It's amazing,
right.
Mm-hmm. And Dan, because we're not going to talk through every single one of these, you're going to be going through yourself as well. Can you just show everybody as well, just to remind them about the immersive feature on the on what Emily's doing too?
So if we click on Emily, we'll see this little button down here in the corner that I'm moving my mouse over. So if you click on that, it will open up Immersive Reader. And Immersive Reader is a great tool here. It will, if you're having issues or trouble or challenges with any of the language or the words, you can click play and it will read it for you. You can even just click on one word. So if you've read all that and it's just one word that you're not sure of, you can just click on it and click here and it will read the word for you. Additionally, you can slow down the voice speed or you can speed it up. Another neat feature here is up here in the top right corner, the little book icon. If you click on that, I can actually change the language here and translate this whole thing into another language. So like for example, French or Spanish. I could scan down here. Where's French? So there's French Canada, French France, pick Canada, and it will read it in French for me. And if I click this document toggle here, it'll actually change all the words into French. So
That's
it's a pretty
amazing, eh?
cool, useful tool. You can also get to Immersive Reader, like if you're looking at a poster or slate or sign, they won't have that little Immersive Reader button, but you can look at the board, and as long as you're looking at it and you press I, it will open up Immersive Reader. You can see it'll bring that text in again, and it will read it for you, and you can translate.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so
It
much.
is really cool.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to walk back through the rift again now. So I've got one rift done, and there are 2 more rifts left. So I'm just going to go quiet here for a while, and I'm going to walk through and explore the world. So
Sounds good.
if you're having issues with the newer version or getting a hold of it, you can just follow along with me. Otherwise, just go and explore.
Absolutely. And when you're exploring, don't forget to click on some of those buttons and check out some things as well as you're going along. You're going to have to go through 3 areas, and there's definitely 3 rifts in each one. So there'll be 9 altogether today.
Sometimes they sneak in little Easter eggs in these worlds. I've talked to the developers. They like to do stuff like that. So it's always good to see, maybe click the odd button here. It may just look decorative. You never know. I haven't found any
That's
yet, but I'm going to keep trying.
excellent.
Oh, my screen's not active now.
all that I was doing. There was a couple of people that were asking that they couldn't get in, so I was just mentioning to them that if they're on Chromebooks, then that may be the problem that's happening. Yes,
Okay,
if you are
no
just
problem.
joining us, yeah, no problem. I was there in the background. If people are wanting to just follow along with Dan, then please do that for this part of our workshop. And we'll still be talking about Area X.0 is coming up as well. And we're still going to do a build challenge too, but we're just going to build somewhere else. So if you're able to get into the transportation world, beautiful. And if you can't, then please just follow along or save this for another day. You trying to open another door there, Dan?
I am.
I love it. Oh, you've completed. Is that the first area?
This is the second area.
Second area. Oh, good for you. Excellent.
Right. Actually, it might be the third. Yeah, head to next area now. So okay, so that was I've done the 3 rifts in the first one.
Okay, perfect. Dan, just while you're doing that, I'm just going to mention to some of our friends too who are asking if you are updated. You can actually join this world. The transportation world is in the new and featured block um, on the in Minecraft. So if you're going into your account and getting in, if you see new and featured, you can actually find it right there. And I know we have a lot of friends that are just following along on Dan's screen and seeing what you're doing there. Dan, I'll just interject here for a second. The alternatives world, which is the third world that you're going to come into, that you've just entered, right?
Yes.
That alternatives world is my favorite. It's really interesting reading all the history of where fossil fuels have all come from and everything that's going on. But I really like the whole idea of where they're starting to think with all these alternatives as well.
Mm-hmm. And it's interesting. I mean, if you look at the electric car, the first electric cars were actually built in the late 1890s.
No
So it's
way.
interesting. Yeah, yeah. They actually started playing around with electric cars very early on, and there were even steam-powered cars, and there were lots of different approaches. And the petroleum-powered car ended up winning out over the other options, which is unfortunate. There's actually a steam-powered car that was built and designed and developed and produced in Canada for
Ah,
quite a long time. I think up into the 1920s.
that's amazing, eh?
So now we're kind of coming back full circle and going back down the electric path. It's too bad that we didn't get on that right from the very beginning.
Oh, I know. But you know what? Everybody just thought fossil fuels they were so abundant. They had no idea
Mm-hmm.
the effects that they would have. I get it. I wonder if any of those vehicles are CAV vehicles. We're going to talk about
CAV.
CAV. Yeah, I
Well,
know.
what's that mean?
Ho, ho, ho. When we talk about area X.O, you just might find out, eh?
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, wait, I won't say anything more, but I just wonder, maybe some of our students know what that already is. That's kind of cool. Dan, just while you're on your way to find that last rift, I'm just going
Hmm.
to let our friends know that we have about 2 minutes or so left in doing what we're doing for the moment. And just if they want to start looking or trying to get through or whatever, they don't have to. You can obviously just keep going or pause or do whatever. But about 2 minutes from now, we'll be moving on to something a little bit different and talking. Well, I wonder where those eggs were, eh?
There might not be one in every world, but I do know they like to sneak them in.
They do, eh? Yeah, it's amazing. Oh, not a worry. It made me giggle when I was watching, and I thought, oh yeah, he didn't go in there before. That's a good place to try and see what was there. Yeah. So if you are finished, students, if you're ready, could you please, we'd love to hear from you again. And we'd like to know just one tidbit, one thing that you've learned from going through this transportation world. What was interesting for you? What was something maybe you didn't know before? Or what was something that, came back to you, you're like, oh yeah, or just a big aha moment. Now, write it in the forum and let us know, okay? And I'd like to do some shout outs while we're waiting for people to do that too, Dan, because we've had lots of people putting things in. So it was interesting to me. I was watching and I took a look at all the people that answered our first question. And we had Tarek and Abby and Olivia and Matthew and Scott. They were all walking to school. That was their
Oh,
energy. That was
that's
the way
great.
that yeah, it was really neat. And then Kirsten said, she said, I drank water this morning. That was my start off to get going and doing all that. And Elena is at home as well. And so she was saying that, the electricity was some of the fuel that was being used, right? And even to power the computer as well. There was electricity that was needed for that. And Matthew said something that was kind of neat too. He said, if we use more technology and computers and that, then more things could be done at home and you wouldn't have to use as many cars to go to places and do things. So
Exactly.
that's one thought about lessening our carbon imprint as
Yeah,
well.
and most of our energy that is produced and transmitted along hydro lines in Canada is produced through hydro or nuclear or renewable resources.
Right.
Unlike other places in the world where there's a lot of coal plants and oil plants, that's something that we don't have a lot of here in Canada. I don't know if there are any even left at this point.
Right. Well, when I was living over in England, definitely there was coal generating stations everywhere. Yeah, because you could even
Yeah.
smell it in the air, even as well. Yeah, and again, same thing. That was a while ago now, so I don't know how things are now, but there was a lot of them there at one point for sure. Yeah, yeah. Well, and I think we have some answers here too. So let's see what some of our students were saying. Okay, we've got Benjamin loved the big airplanes, and I did too, Benjamin. I thought those were so neat, and I was so glad you went on board one of them, Dan, because I thought,
They're
whoa,
pretty cool.
yeah, let's see what's in there. And I thought there might have been something in there that was going to flash or do something. So come on, these worlds are so incredible as is. Here we are nitpicking about a little thing. Yeah, not happening, and they're amazing. Eric said the greenhouse emissions. That was something that he found. That was something new to him as well. Matthew said, I have almost everything on the computer. So that he was noticing that was something that, again, using less of our energy other places. I love this name, Kiruka. I'm hoping that's how I'm supposed to say it. There was a lot of vehicles, so they love the vehicles. Kaylin learned about the history of oil companies, right? And I didn't even know all of that either, the way that all that came through. Learned how oil companies can help and hurt the environment. Yeah, so it's that balance again. Jada said, I didn't know that there were 40 million cars on the road. 40 million. Yeah, that's so true. That's right. And she didn't know as well that Ford used a conveyor belt to make his car. So those are pretty cool things to find out too. Yeah. And one of the and another one of our students was saying that it was amazing to see that they were talking about using hydrogen gas in order to make fuel, so that the actual output, I want to say, that's not the right word, but is going to be water instead of carbon dioxide. So
yeah, it's water and I think oxygen it releases when you combust hydrogen.
Right. So you're getting they're getting the hydrogen and the oxygen instead of the carbon and the oxygen, right? Which is the carbon dioxide. Yeah, so cool. So that was kind of neat to see. All right, so we have another question for everybody as well. All right, this is now we've been sort of tempting you with what's going on with Area X.O. So think of the city of the future, okay? Now that you've been reading all the things as well in Minecraft, what do you envision? What can you see it looking like? How will people and things move? So how both, right? How are people getting around, but also how do we move things around too? And how do we communicate with each other? Or how do things communicate with each other? How do they communicate? Or how does a person know that something's coming to them or something's going on? So think about that. City of the future. Put down your ideas and what you think it might look like. And Dan, while we're just waiting for that, have you got an idea of what your city of the future would look like?
I have some ideas here that I was they're percolating in my head this morning. So by the time we get to the end, I might have decided. I hope I've decided.
Right. But do you have anything? What does the city of the future look like to you right now? Like, what would you see in the city of the future?
Well, going back to our conversation this morning about how we got to school today. So, I mean, I'm working from home today, but as I said, frequently I used to have to commute for about 40 minutes a day, or sorry, 40 minutes in the morning and 40 minutes at night. So it's driving back and forth quite a lot. And I did buy a very small, compact, fuel efficient car. But, my next car, I would like electric, but even more ideally, it would be great to have some more public transportation between different places. So I was living in Guelph and I had to commute every day to Waterloo. And there's a couple of roads in between, but like trying to get a train or a bus or something like that is very impractical. They don't travel necessarily the times that I would need to be able to get to where I am. It makes it very, very challenging. Whereas I know in a lot of places in Europe and in Asia, they have a lot of mass transit infrastructure. It's not all about cars. We're very car cultured over in North America, and in Europe, you have cars too, but there's a legacy of public transportation that's been there for quite a long time. So having been over in the UK many times myself, I've often just hopped on a train, like no problem at all, and been on the other side of the country within minutes or hours, depending on which one I'm taking and where I'm going. And it was convenient, and there's trains and all sorts of different transportation all the time. So I'm not having to worry about having to rent a car and put petrol in it and then drive to that location.
Right.
So somewhere like Guelph and Waterloo being so close together, it would be great if there was like a little high-speed monorail network line or something like that there, that you could just hop in something that's always going through and get there without having to rely on a vehicle. Right. I would like not to own a car.
Yeah. Well, you know what? And for me, when I think future, I think I want to think even like, I look at how much things have changed in the last 100 years. So like 100 years from now, I would love to see that you would have some kind of device even on you, like a watch or whatever. And that device could actually, you could click it. And at that point, a scooter board or something would come and arrive where you are, and you could program in where you want to go, and it would just take you there. That's what I could see happening as well.
Very cool.
I want to go totally sci-fi. All right. Well, let's see what some of our friends said as well. I'll let you look as well there, Dan, so that we're both being able to see them. But I see it looking clean and people moving with electric cars. That's what Noah is saying to us, which is great. Kate said people will invent telecommunication earpieces to put in your ears. Ooh, I like that one too. Corbin, I hope that they use solar powered technology. And it's an amazing source of energy, right? So wouldn't it be neat if they were able to get more and more of that going? Alex said, walk, just walk. Everybody can walk everywhere. I like that. John said people will teleport to places. Oh, John, you're on the same page as me. I like that. That's really good.
Going totally Star Trek.
That's right. Let's do this. Oh, and he even said here, he says as well, and use portable watches. Yes. I love it. Electric vehicles and probably better phones from Paxton. And Matt said all renewable energies used. Oh, that'd be amazing if that could happen. That would be so neat. People will get around with eco-friendly things and people will talk about keeping the planet safe. That's great. And Matt, thank you very much. And Lily has said that. I'm sorry. Sophia, I think the city will be the same, but the technology will be much more advanced. And very, very true. All right. Well, those ideas that you have there, thank you so much for sharing. Oh my gosh, you have such amazing, amazing things. And I just looked over as well. I saw Eaton said they could have invisibility cloaks. I love it. Let's go Harry Potter here. It sounds great. And move around. But the invisibility cloak would have to have powers inside of it that could actually teleport you to the next spot as well. I'm just saying. All right. So we are going to actually talk about Area X2O or X.O. Sorry, everything is X2 something or other. So X.O and Area X.O. If you have questions about this, what you think might be happening, then please start putting those in the form too. But Dan, what do you think this thing even is? What do you think it's even all about? I know we asked the students earlier, and some of them were starting to come up with some ideas. What do you think? Throw them in the form too. What do you think Area X.O is?
Well, I know what it is because I've
you do. That's true. That's unfair, isn't it? Okay.
Video. So it would be unfair for me to answer before the students get a chance. It's kind of a cool name here, though.
It is. And the whole idea of thinking of it being possibly an airplane or an airport or something going on will give you some hints. This area is actually in Ottawa, Ontario. It's in Ottawa. It is the site of an old experimental development area. It is almost 2,000 acres large. Like, this place is big. And if you're from anywhere near Ottawa and you don't know about Area X.O, then there's it's not that secret. It's not supposed to be secret, but it is cool what they do there. All right, so let's go. Here we are. We think Area X is about satellites, something about helping the Earth. You're absolutely right. So let's roll into this. I've actually got a video here to show everybody so that they can actually see what this area is all about. And you can see whether your answer was right when you take a look. Okay, here it goes.
There's a lot of tracks that do testing. There's not a lot of areas where the R&D is happening that leads to the testing. So when we think about what's here, we're not just thinking about cars. We're thinking about military vehicles. We're thinking about first responders that are helping to bring somebody to safety. We're thinking about last mile shuttle services that we can capture the imagination of the public. If you're looking at testing what's coming, that's why you come to Area X.O. Area X.O is future ready.
Area X.O operates one of the most advanced communication test infrastructures in the world. Companies in numerous sectors, including smart farming, have access to our GPS systems, 4G LTE, Wi-Fi, LoRaWAN, TV white space, 5G, including millimeter wave, and satellite communication systems.
The potential for the Ottawa Area X.O site is endless, as are smart cities. We are just at the infancy of smart cities. This is just the beginning.
I know we're looking at bringing in, trains and rail stations, building a tunnel here. So they're really looking to the future to understand what does a city need to evolve and how can they make that happen here on site.
I think the objective for a site like this is to provide a platform where you can test and validate your solution in a contained and controlled environment. Here at Area X.0, there's a huge array of capabilities and solutions. And one of the biggest challenges we see was, how do we get that out to the community? How do we bring in the broader innovation centers across Ontario and Canada? And so with the development of the mobile Area X.0 command center, we can start to do that. We can bring the capabilities right into the local community and start working with small, medium businesses there to bring new solutions that address their local needs.
We work with the hardware companies, all the big names, the silicon vendors that you can think of, and then we empower these systems. So we're sort of that software foundation that, again, has to be safe, secure, reliable, 100% of the time.
Area X.0 is the futureplex of innovation and collaboration anchored right here in Ottawa, Canada's capital. We enable and accelerate the safe and secure development, testing, and application of future technologies. And we're founded on some of the greatest differentiators, expertise, and capabilities that Ottawa has to offer the world. As a global tech hub, we have the highest concentration of technology talent per capita in all of North America. Some of our internationally recognized strengths include cybersecurity and telecommunications. 90% of the telecom industry-led R&D that takes place in all of Canada happens right here in Ottawa. We bring all of these capabilities to bear with our industry partners here at Area X.0.
Being in an area that is snowy and the climate is challenging has really been beneficial in creating surprises of new technology and how we develop that. That's been quite amazing.
For us, coming to this site allows us to do testing in a much more cost-effective way.
There are a number of large companies here we can potentially work with to gain a foothold in different industries, and there are a number of smaller innovative companies as well.
It's a very collaborative environment. And not only are we being able to talk with people on site, the various companies that are, here right now within this footprint, but we're working together on projects to bring across North America to showcase not just our company's technology, but collaborative technologies at work.
To have an opportunity to collaborate with such a great organization as Invest Ottawa at their Area X.0 site is just fantastic. We're there at the beginning. We get to learn with them. We get to learn with their other partners and collaborators. It's phenomenal.
I love innovation. I love technology. And I think that this site is really a model for us being able to have great technology come together. And then I think Ottawa can be a leader in this space towards Canada and towards the world.
You've got really all of the ingredients of a triple helix model. You've got government, academia, and industry together, and that to me is exciting. That's really why I think the future is very bright with Area X.0.
All right, let's get back here. Wow, Dan, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it was
Cool
amazing.
stuff.
We had Sam that said drones as well. So he actually was spot on with the drones being there. So you're right. So Area X.0 is this area in Ottawa, Ontario, that, as you can see, it's a huge, huge area. And they do all these different kinds of testings. I don't know what was one of the ones that like totally stood out to you, Dan, when you looked at it, at the video?
Yeah, there are lots of some really cool things there. I like that little, what was that? Eight-wheeled vehicle. It looked kind of military. It looked like some sort of transportation thing. It looked like it was an autonomous one, and it was just going to drive around in the snow and go over all sorts of rough terrain.
Right, which would be neat, wouldn't it? If it doesn't have to be manned at all, then it's actually going into places that could be dangerous, and no, there wouldn't be any humans that would be actually hurt with it too, which would be not a bad thing. I loved as well the whole area that they had for the farming. Like they had those tractors were driving themselves and actually planting the fields and doing all of that. Like we were talking about using less fossil fuels. Well, imagine if it can be all run on solar power or on whatever kind, right? Energy, electric. Like that's kind of cool as well. I don't know whether or not this might be the time, I think, to mention that CAV thing. I'm just going to show everybody this slide that we have from Area X.0. This was actually set up so it's exactly the same as an area in Ottawa. So these streets on this section of their big farm is actually set up to be exactly like the streets of Ottawa. And I don't know whether our students notice, I mean, I don't know how you could miss it, but when they put out the kid, the poor child in front of that car, and the car stopped, thank goodness, but I wonder how many times it didn't stop to start with. That's the greatest thing about R&D, right? Research and development. So those kind of cars, those are called CAV cars. So does that help for you to figure out what CAV means? Nope. It's okay. It's no problem. I know it because I looked it up as well. So it's
Okay.
connected. I know connected and autonomous vehicles.
Okay, right.
Autonomous. Yeah. Because what is happening with all of these cars is the fact that they are actually connected to each other and to the satellites that are actually saying where the different intersections are. So they actually had a whole section in this area that they have monitors everywhere at this intersection. So all the cars can actually, they know that they're coming up to a stop. And imagine your car, imagine in the future, your car actually slowing down and stopping because the light is turning yellow. No more going through those yellow lights, and stopping at the intersection because you're supposed to. And that's where their minds are all going, is how do we make all of these things connected so that the cars actually can talk with all the systems that are also all around. So I don't know if anybody has any questions, and Dan, I'll let you watch for that on there about what if they have questions about this area, but it's kind of cool to think that this is right in Ottawa. And so they not only are doing this with roads, but they're also doing it with rail crossings as well. So they're looking at the fact that in Ottawa, unfortunately, they have 67 level railway crossings. And they have so many accidents there with the rail crossings still, even though, people should know, rail crossings that they need to be stopping. But they're trying to invent technology that will actually have, that will notify people, or the train, if their car could know that they're coming up to a railway line and there's a train coming, again, their car would stop. Like just all kinds of really neat things. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm seeing Otto here is suggesting the moon as a base for finding renewable resources. And that's actually a really great idea. Yeah, I mean, like there's no atmosphere on the moon. You don't have to worry about rain or clouds or anything. You could have set up massive solar farms there. The only issue is that you'd have to have one on several locations of the moon because of its rotation. It basically has 15 days of day and then 15 days of night, as it were.
Yeah, that's true.
But you could, it's totally doable.
Exactly. And I'm hoping that this just gives people a little bit of a brainstorm about what they might be doing with you next, because we're ready to go back into Minecraft again. Absolutely. And I know that some of these drones and things too, that's a possibility. And a CAV car, a CAV train, who knows what you'll come up with. And I know that Dan likes to get ideas. Well, we've already asked you if you had any questions, but I know Dan likes to ask, what kind of ideas can you give me? But Dan, do you think you've got some ideas already that you can actually start going in and creating if we get our students to that point?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
I've definitely got a couple of ideas.
Excellent. Okay, because we have about a half hour, and I'd love for you to have enough time and for the students to have a lot of time as well to build. So you are looking at what is one invention that could help improve our climate's future. You can build this anywhere. You do not have to be in any of the climate futures worlds. You can be in any world that you want to. You can be just like what we're going to do, going into a block of grass. So Dan's going to show us how to get to both places very quickly, and then it's time to do some building. Okay, so let's get into here.
All right, so if I've come full circle and I've done all of the different areas and rifts, I'm coming back to Emily here, and I do have to click on her to go to the next level if you're able to operate and build in this world. So I click on here. They're going to give me a book for writing some of my reflections about what I've experienced in here. I'm just going to jump ahead here, and I'm going to click I'm done. And let's go. And it's going to teleport me to the challenge area. Okay. So again, I'm in survival mode right now. I need to click on Emily and say, let's go, to jump into creative mode. And now in creative mode, I can now start building. So if you don't have access to this world, you can just work in blocks of grass. And I apologize here. I have a very chatty cat, and she is trying to tell me something. So
that's no problem.
I'm going to exit out here, and I'm going to go to View Library, Starter Worlds, Biomes, and this is where you can find a quick block of grass template to work in. Or as we mentioned earlier, as Mary mentioned earlier, you could go and do an underwater one if you wanted to do. If that's something that you thought, you could go into the ocean biome here, and you could go ahead and make something under the water there if you wanted to do that. I'm just going to click into the blocks of grass. So I'll just jump back there and show you where that is again, because it is a few jumps here.
That'd be great.
View Library, Subject Kits. Oh, sorry, wrong one.
Yeah, wrong one.
Okay, and Starter Worlds. Sorry, Starter Worlds, Biomes, blocks of grass. And I'm just going to create this and jump in here. And again, my computer is quite fast about that. So I'm going to build something in here. So I was thinking of building a fusion plant, and I think that half an hour probably isn't enough to create a nuclear fusion plant. Now, fusion is very different than fission. Fission we have now. Fusion is still being developed, but I think we've been working on it for about 60 or 70 years, and they still haven't quite got it. And there's all sorts of different approaches going on with it right now. And I'd have to pick one, and then I'd have to build it, and that would be pretty extensive. So I'm thinking jumping back to that Guelph, Waterloo public transportation issue. So a few days ago, if you were watching, I built a hover train, sort of a traditional high-speed Magna hover train kind of thing. And I was thinking, the problem with having large trains is that you have to wait for them to fill up and, to really maximize their efficiency in the use of the energy, right? Wouldn't it be cool if we had maybe like, again, a hover rail system, but something with like smaller little cars in it that instead of, holding 30 people, it held, like 10 or 15 or something like that. So, you could have them going more regularly rather than having one every half hour or 2 hours or something like that. You could have them going every 15 minutes. Like they have this in Toronto Airport and a lot of other airports that have been around in the world as well, where you go in and they have a little shuttle monorail service that you can get at the car park. You go up, you get into it. It only holds like 8 people and their luggage. So you'll just jump on and it goes, and there's a little sign that comes up, next car coming in 2 minutes, and boom, it's there. You just jump on and then off you go again. So it's just a constant line rather than waiting for a large line of rail cars to show up. So I think I'm going to build something like that today.
Okay. Oh, that sounds great. That's super. And we have Kaylin has said that they're thinking of an invention that can help the climate is a cleaning raid. It sucks the bad toxins from the from the air and the water, which would be kind of cool. And Amelia thought that they could maybe help the ozone layer. And Olive said that electronics created by natural resources or a machine that makes humans disappear. That's only good on the day that you're really not liking your younger brother or sister.
Yeah.
Paxton is going to use more electricity. And Kate's going to build something similar to a wind turbine, but more complicated that can help with climate change. I love these ideas. Lily is thinking about doing some kind of a home appliance. And Riley's thinking of some solar paneled rechargeable batteries as well. That's neat. And Jada, a machine that would be like a dome around the earth. And if the earth got too hot, it would send a wave of cool air and cool the earth down. I love that idea. That's really neat. And that would be wonderful to see too. And as we've said to in other sessions during Earth Week, your challenge is if you come up with something in your build you want to share with us, then we definitely have a build challenge that's by sometime in May. I can't remember the date for sure, but everything would have to be built by then and sent in. And definitely we'd love to see your work. And I'm going to go quiet now.
Again, I've been building since 2009. I've learned a lot of skills. You made me see me do some stuff with command blocks and Redstone. You're more than welcome to follow along and see if what I'm doing there, but don't feel like you need to do these same things, okay? There's lots of different ways of doing in Minecraft. I always say there's no wrong way of approaching a problem. Multiple solutions, all sorts of different things you can do and try, and just work with your comfort level. And if you feel like a little bit of a challenge, then you can try to research and see how some of these things work too.
Dan, it's crazy how quickly time goes, but I'm just going to let you know and our friends out there know that we have 5 minutes.
Okay.
You know,
5 minutes. Gotcha.
Yeah, then we'll get you to talk about what you're doing and all that too. And we've got some great ideas too from our friends out there.
Awesome.
Wow. All right. I can't believe. Just in time, absolutely. It's amazing. And actually, while you're looking at it and explaining what is going on there, I'm just going to get our friends out there just to start adding into our post, because I'd love for you to be able to talk, but we'd also like to honor some of their ideas too. So I'm just going to put this up here for a second and just ask everyone out there, our friends, what was your favorite part of this entire Earth Week 2022? What, just give us a, we'll give a shout out to whatever it was that was your favorite part of what was going on. on. And obviously you're going to have time to still keep on building and doing things as well, but you just pause for a minute and maybe share some time with us and see what Dan's been able to come up with here too. And I love the fact that we had, somebody was making an airport. Abby was making an airport, but she's going to have dirt still all around so the trees can grow and do things like that as well. So kind of cool, just the ideas that are coming up. All right, Dan, yours.
All right. So, like I said, I was saying I wanted to build like basically a shuttle service on a magnet rail system that would have smaller cars, so there'd be more frequent options for being able to jump on one and take one in. So rather than large cars, you could have smaller ones, and they're all electrically powered. So you've got your solar panels on top to help feed energy into the system. Light colors again to try to reflect as much sunlight back up again. Because again, in urban settings, we tend to use a lot of dark asphalt and stuff like that, and that just makes the whole environment that much warmer during the summer. So use lighter colors to help reflect back some of that heat. So it is a small cab rather than a large train car, and we've got the rails on the bottom, the hover rails on the bottom. It's hovering above. Now I did add a few extra little features in here, and I just had time to do it. So it's an automated sliding door.
I love
that.
It
senses when you walk up and then it opens and closes it.
That blew my mind when I saw that going on. I was like, oh my word, that's so cool. Yeah.
I had just enough extra time today to be able to add that in. I like to add that one in a lot of my builds. And again, I like to hide stuff so it looks aesthetic. So I've made a little bit of a wall around it there so that you can't see the mechanics.
That's cool.
So we've got some seats in here. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We've got enough space for 10 people on this, which I think is a fair number for a smaller cab. And again, like I was doing yesterday, where I did the electric bus with the spaces for bikes or strollers or things like that. Just so that when people come on, there's accessibility seating or space there, and there's so if they're walking or if they're biking to their next destination after they take the car, they can just pick up their bike here and get out and then hop on their bike and ride off. So again, continuing that line of green thinking.
And I love that you use signs as the ends for your seats. That was just such a cool.
Well,
I never would have thought of that. Yeah, it's just such an artistic little thing to add in there. It was perfect, right? Yeah. And if you wanted
you know what? I got that idea from a student.
Oh,
I used to use trap doors on the sides. And then I saw a student one day in a workshop using the signs instead. I'm like, I'm totally using that. That is an awesome idea. I frequently exchange ideas with students in workshops, and they come in with all sorts of things that I haven't thought of, and I share some of my tips and tricks with them, and we all end up walking away with so much more. It's what I love about Minecraft. It just becomes this big sort of experience where we share all of our knowledge openly and freely.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, it's been a phenomenal week. And Dan, thank you so much for being here and doing these builds for us. Parker actually said one of his favorite things about this whole week was watching you build.
Thank you so much.
So that's very cool. And it's been great to be able to partner with you. Thinking about Haley was saying all the Minecraft thing and the learning and what's going on. And we had Corbin say, thank you. Have a great day for us as well, which is wonderful. Corbin, you have a great day too. And we're saying that from Kaylin as well. It's been a great week. And so it's time for us to sign off, but we want to make sure, check with your teachers, get ready for the builds. Bring those builds in. We would love to see them, whatever it is that you've been inspired to do over this past week. And Dan, any last words that you have that you want to say?
Build, challenge yourself, have fun with it. Don't get frustrated. I'm sure you've all got great ideas, and I'm hoping to see some of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you so much for being with us. It's been great.
Thank you so much. It's been great working with you.
All right.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.